How's it, everybody? Aloha no, aloha kako. Welcome to our AAF Hawaii Education Series 2 Scoops. Each month, AAF's Hawaii 2 Scoop Series will spotlight a different industry leader who will share life and career experiences as well as advice and takeaways learned along the way. Now, to kind of simplify things today, the chat will be moderated. We encourage all of you to just go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and that's going to, what we'll do is during the Q&A part of the session, they'll go ahead and send those to me, and so I'll be able to see your questions. In the meantime, go ahead and put your questions, once again, in the chat. Our guest today is the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for FCH Enterprises, the parent brand of Zippy's restaurants and its affiliated companies. Prior to Zippy's, he led marketing teams at other iconic Hawaii brands such as Hawaiian Airlines, Bank of Hawaii. Currently serves on the boards of Hugs Hawaii, the Aloha Diaper Bank, Goodwill Contract Services of Hawaii, and the Movers and Shakas program. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Kevin Yim.
Hello, Billy. How are you?
Kevin, nice to have you here on the show. First of all, since this is the first show, I've been given specific instructions, so I was told to put on my kid gloves. So here we go. I don't have kid gloves, so oven mitts will have to do for today. So here we go, my kid gloves for show number 1. Kevin, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Tell us why you chose advertising as a career. What got you interested in this industry?
Well, first of all, thank you to AAF Hawaii for having me here today. I'm just so happy to be here and launch this new 2 Scoop series with AAF. You know, 2 scoops, get them right. One host. One, okay, never mind. So why did I choose advertising? Well, to be really honest with you, I had known I wanted to get into the marketing field at some point or another. I was in San Francisco going to school at USF, and I made friends with somebody you know, Billy, actually, Alan Oda and Lanai Tabura,
wow,
who were up in San Francisco at the time trying to make their career up there in the Bay. Got to know them a little bit. I happened to graduate. They had come back home to run I-94. If anybody remembers that radio station, I came home too, and I helped to work on Brown Bags' stardom. If anybody remembers Brown Bags at the time, I visited every single high school in the state of Hawaii to help put on what was American Idol before American Idol. But, you know, that didn't pay a lot. Needed to pay the bills. I had a degree. And so, of course, what I do, I slide into the sales side of radio. And what I really liked about selling radio is that it was about consulting. It really was talking to business owners. What were their issues and problems that they needed to solve? And what solutions could I bring? And I really did treat it like a consulting gig. Oftentimes, I would actually recommend other radio stations or other mediums. And what happened is, in that course of building that trust with a lot of business owners, they would just pitch me business whenever they can. Listen, I got a few extra bucks, here you go. And so that got me really thinking about what I did, not so much as a marketing or advertising salesperson, but as a consultant and helping people choose and solve their problems. And so when I went to work for Bank of Hawaii, I got to do fun things like reading brochures, reading those terms and conditions that get printed out, all the way up to doing things like advertising. I did Web 1.0 at the at Bank of Hawaii, as well as brand management and events over time. And so really, why did I get into advertising as a career? Because I wanted to help business owners solve their problems.
Yeah, what is your favorite all-time TV commercial and why?
It's a tough one. I'm going to answer this one really honestly. I don't have one. Okay, and this is the reason why. I think that ads are a reflection of the culture of that exact moment in time. So, for example, I mean, there are specific ads that do transcend time, but those are few and far between. Think about Coke's Teach the World to Sing campaign, right? Or some of the Budweiser campaigns. But I do think that the best ads are the ones that are so unique as of this particular instant that they get into the cultural zeitgeist and make you buy that thing right now. So there's not a favorite, because just like how you look back at, I don't know, maybe a one-hit wonder from the early 90s or something. It's not necessarily the best song ever. It was good for that time.
Wow. Okay. When you were describing what the favorite commercial was for you and the characteristics of it, I mean, immediately the Betty White commercial with Snickers kind of popped up into the mind, or where's the beef, Wendy's, that kind of thing. At Zippy's, you collaborate with a lot of local organizations, RE South, Asato, now Coco Moon, Hawaii. What makes that good advertising?
First of all, let's talk about Hawaii as a business community. I truly believe that Hawaii, unlike many other communities in the world, most business owners and people who run businesses here believe that Hawaii is a kako thing, that when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And so when we do collaborations, we use that same view. We take that same point of view. Let's take something like our current collaboration, which is Coco Moon. So Coco Moon makes infant clothes, right? Mm-hmm. And they're a really cute brand. I'm sorry, my phone keeps ringing on you.
Nope, we can't hear it. You're good.
Okay, awesome. So Coco Moon makes wonderful baby clothes. They have a great brand. We like families. Our number one target market is actually people with young children. And so it's a great opportunity for us to talk to their audience on their terms, right? When they're talking about clothes and things, Zippy's as well. It's also something else they love. And so their guests or their particular customers get to combine two things they love, their love for Zippy's and the love for Coco Moon. But going back to, Hawaii, this is a way for all of us to succeed. We, as a local business, take it very seriously that we need to support other local businesses because someday we'll need their help as well.
It's really interesting because when you think of sales, you think of instantly it's adversarial, no pun intended, but it is. But in the way you do it, it's I help you, we're helping each other, we're doing things together. It's kind of like finding ways to make bridges and to build communities that way.
Exactly. It's not. Do we compete? Yes, we have competitors. Do we compete aggressively? Sometimes we do. Most times, even within our own food category, I am very happy when somebody else comes out with a successful food item. The same way I hope they're happy for me when we come out with a successful food item. Why? We live on this island, right? We got to see each other all the time. And my hard-earned money will be spent at your business and likewise the other way around. So it's about all of us, not one of us.
What's the biggest lesson you learned in advertising?
That you're never right. That I'm always wrong. Advertising is a ever-changing field that moves super fast because advertising at the end of the day is about human behavior and how do we incent certain types of human behavior. Humans change all the time. The mediums change all the time. The incentive structures change all the time. And so for me, it's about needing to stay ahead of the game by always constantly learning, thinking about different ways to do things, but more importantly, talking to people and seeing maybe what their points of view might be in terms of what's coming up.
What's the biggest risk you ever took in advertising?
I would say that I'm taking it right now, actually, working here for this brand at Zippy's. So I think it's really easy as a food brand to have beautiful pictures of, you see this all the time, the burger twirling on the table and the little steam marks coming up. And my favorite one, which is, I don't know why anybody would do this, but it's the food falling and it always kind of just falls together and kind of bounces on the table. Why would you ever eat anything, or why would you ever do that to your food? Number one, right? So, but most restaurant advertising is food focused. That is not Zippy's. I truly believe that Zippy's is Hawaii's third place. There's home, there's work, and the other place that you go to gather, right? And I do believe Hawaii's third place is Zippy's. And so therefore, our advertising strategy is built around telling the stories of our guests, and over the food, of course, but it's not about showing the food. So I go back to a commercial like the first date commercial that you may have seen. There was a boy and a girl on their first date and having a very awkward interaction, because I'm certain that at least one person on this call had that exact same experience. So of having to go and take a first date, got to figure out how to calculate tip, and so it makes you realize that Zippy's is more than just food. It's about the people you're with. It's about the experiences that you make. And this is different than what food people normally do.
Let's talk about the ad industry for a couple of moments. Overall, what do you think makes advertising vital?
Oh, this one is easy. On one side, the businesses have particular products that they need to sell or solutions that they have for guests or customers who have these particular problems. So advertising is the medium through which you connect the person who has an issue with their solution. Very simply.
I've got one more question here, and then I'll pop into, I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye. I'll describe what I'm seeing coming up in a moment. What's the biggest challenge facing the advertising industry today?
So this is a hard one for me because there are so many challenges ahead of us. You could talk about, is the metaverse real, right? Is that going to be a real medium for us? And I'm going to bring it down to a little bit more real level, though, because I think that's a good discussion. And I think there are probably people who are much more versed to speak about that. What, to Kevin, is the biggest problem with the advertising industry today? I'll start back. Let me step back a second. There was a day when you could buy a TV ad and you reach 98% of the population. There was a day when the newspaper used to reach everyone. And as new mediums came along, it further fragmented each of the audiences. We are so fragmented now that many niche groups or communities consume media that is an echo chamber of their own beliefs. And we've created this. How did we as an advertising industry create this? We gave them money. So it's our money that's creating the divisiveness that we have now in our country, the divisiveness that we have here even in Hawaii amongst our own people. We have actively supported certain platforms, given them money. And so what do we do now as an advertising industry? It's a really hard question because on one level, I need to reach a lot of different people. And I have, for example, I need to reach seniors and I need to reach teenagers here at Zippy's, right? And so I am going to buy a digital ad buy that targets certain people. But then what I'm buying now is such a small target. And I'm spending increasingly more against each one of those targets. I now have to make decisions about, and they're value decisions at the end of the day, about which one of our target audiences and which medium I'm going to spend our money on, because we can't buy anything and everything. So me as a brand marketer now on this side of making decisions of allocation of dollars, now I'm put in a position of having to make decisions about media and their political views, and whether or not their particular coverage of something might be fair and balanced. And this is, while it's always existed on the brand side of the advertising equation, I think now it's even more important for us as brand marketers to think about the context in which we participate in this system. How do we make consistent and objective decisions about allocation of our dollars and the media that we support? So that's a long-winded answer to your question, but
no, but it makes sense. That means you, as a business owner, as a business manager, are having to research and really understand each of these social media platforms and the regular non-social media platforms in order to understand them, understand what the values are, who they're servicing, what it means. It's like all of these questions you have to kind of answer in your head to know which direction or directions you're going.
Exactly. It used to be when I used to get a report or a Nielsen report, I would look at the numbers. It's all about the numbers, right? And now it's not about the numbers because the numbers are so minuscule and small by each individual medium that we're buying. So now I have to look much more deeply into the medium. What are they doing? What do they support? Are they fair and balanced? Am I being objective myself in making these decisions about where to place the dollars? Yeah.
Next set of questions are for those that are entering the advertising industry and maybe considering it as a career, looking to grow and develop in this field. What skills do you think needs to become successful in advertising?
If you're looking to join advertising, don't get into it. I'm joking. Get ready for a lifetime of rejection is what I tell people all the time. No, I think the number one skill you need to have in getting into advertising and marketing in general is a constant curiosity. You need to be amazed at everything that happens around you all the time. Again, advertising and marketing is really about behavior, right? It's people. You want to learn what motivates people, why they think in a particular manner. What's the context in which these particular sets of people may operate or live in or work in or whatever? And you need to be constantly curious. The world is always changing around us. And so the number one thing we look for when I hire, at least when I look for, is a learner's mindset. That you are constantly looking at things and needing to say, inspecting, what is this thing? And how can I make it better? How can I make myself better? I tell people all the time, you should get yourself a subscription to Audible. So what you can do is listen to, oh, sorry. Yeah, not the radio kind of people, right? I'm sorry, Billy.
No. All good. That's interesting. Okay.
Well, you get an Audible and you can take the time now when you're just driving into work, when you're brushing your teeth or working out or whatever you may be doing, to learn about something in a relatively low risk manner, right? Because if you don't like it, you just stop the audio book, right? On the same token, you're also filling in time that would have been done otherwise just staring at the car in front of you, right?
So multitasking, at Audible, that's podcasting right there at its best, and finding things out, figuring things out. What are most important qualities you look in a future for in a future employee, and why?
So again, being open to learning is the number one thing, or hands down, that learning mindset. The other thing I look for, and this is hard to test for when it's a, early career when they really haven't worked before. So it works better maybe when they have 2 jobs-ish under their belt. I always go back and I ask their former managers, if I happen to know them, what they were like. And did they ever use the term, I'm just a fill in the blank. I am just a account coordinator. I'm just a direct marketing person. I'm just an advertising person. For that matter, I'm just a marketer. Why? Those are limiting words. Just should be removed from our vocabulary. Yeah. If you want to be the next whatever thing that is, you want to move from account coordinator to AE or AE to account director, you need to actually operate at that level. When you make that decision in your head that you want to do something bigger and better, you need to say, I'm going to operate at that level, even if I'm not currently having that title. Why? Because people will notice. I guarantee you, if you have a good leader, a good manager, they will notice. And when that next opportunity comes up to promote somebody, or for you to move on to a different job someplace else, someone will notice and they'll pick you up. So just removing the just from your vocabulary.
What is something that you wish you could have told yourself, a younger self? If you could give advice to your younger self, what would that be?
I would say I wish some of my earlier managers had really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. Okay, so for real, we get into marketing and advertising, at least when I got into it at my point in time, because I was terrible at math. My SAT score in math was like, I think because I signed my name, I got the points. I have math phobia. I had math phobia. And so I got into marketing because I think I'm a decent writer. So I could do writing, I could be creative. I really wish somebody said, you know what, you should probably take an analytical tack. If you really want to grow your career as a marketer, there's a point in time when you need to actually move over into the more quantitative side of things and take an analytical look at things. And I was afraid of that until I was forced to do it at Hawaiian Airlines, quite honestly. And I realized that actually I no longer have math phobia. Why? Because it wasn't just solving equations for whatever weird reason to get an A on a test in school. Now this was real. I could actually look at data, parse it out and say, oh, if I did this to this group, sales will increase by X%. And that's super exciting to me. And so I wish I had started that journey earlier on in my career.
I'm getting slightly distracted only because I'm seeing questions and I'm seeing comments pop up. I'm going to give you some of these real quickly here. First of all, let's see. Love Zippy's whole collab program. Lissa, thank you very much. Such a great idea. Always such cute products. Lissa also says, I know a couple who had their first date at a Zippy's parking lot during the height of the pandemic. Maybe that's your next commercial right there.
That's a great one, actually.
Let me see. What companies do you think are doing advertising right from the gallery?
Oh, my goodness. Am I supposed to talk about people in town? That's not cool. Gosh, that's a hard one. I think there are many people doing advertising right because there's not one way to do advertising right. It depends on what your goal is. I do think I'm going to pitch it back to my friends over at Bank of Hawaii, my former employer, one of my former employers, and say that they've done a wonderful job in furthering their brand and really coming around. Because financial services is very difficult to advertise. It's not something you sit around thinking about all day long. Oh, my checking account. I really need to get a new checking account. But if I talk about food, you're like super happy. And, you know, somebody, oh, okay, Zippy's, I'll get it today, right? That's not, you don't do that with your checking account. But they've done a really awesome job in staking out a brand position for themselves and really inhabiting the space that financial services can make you happy. So, and fulfill your dreams. I'll start there.
Okay. There's another question from the gallery. What brands are not leveraging the potential to their brands? You can go national if you don't want to talk local, or you can talk local. I'll leave that up to you.
Not leveraging their potential. I can think of some local brands, but I'd probably get in trouble with that one. You know, that's a hard one for me because I don't know the business requirements of their business, right? So this comes out again, what is the thing that you're offering and what is the need from the customer? They have a particular desire. You have a particular solution as a business owner, and the advertising is only there to make sure that message is translated from one to the other. And that's my non-answer answer.
Okay, got it. Hey, we're going to kind of change things up right now, and everybody keep those questions coming that are inside of the chat. We'll get back to those coming up in just a little bit, and we appreciate you being here. What we're going to do is we're going to move into rapid fire questions. Kevin, these are questions I'm going to just throw out to you and see if you can give me a quick answer. Just whatever comes up to the top of the head. Here we go. Question number one. And so let me give you, so at least you have some idea. We've got 10 questions for you. Question number one, favorite food?
Oh, chili chicken mixed plate, no bean, yes! Cheese and onions at Zippy's. And I said that before I started working here. Yes.
Okay, brah, you and I match. Got to be rice, all rice too. Favorite thing to do on the weekends?
Sleep. Unfortunately, I never get to do that because my daughter thinks I'm her Uber driver. So
we share more things together. Number three, brown or white rice?
Oh, white rice. Come on, bro.
Zip pack or surf pack?
Zip pack. Zip pack.
Okay, I can go with that one. You know, sometimes what I do is that's the only one you can substitute. Surf pack you cannot sub, right? So it's like I get an extra piece chicken, or sometimes I like be healthy, I get the extra piece fish.
Fish, yeah. That's why I say zip pack has got the fish inside, but I still love the fried chicken the most, honestly. Both packs.
What is your secret superpower?
My secret superpower, gosh. That's a hard one. I know that Jody probably wrote that one. My secret superpower is being able to multitask.
Good.
Like I'm doing right now. You didn't even see it because my telephone keeps going off. If you're calling me, please stop calling me.
There you go. Okay, this one is Luke. I don't know if that even worked. Team Star Wars or Team Star Trek?
Oh, that's not a fair question. totally unfair question. And so I'm going to make some people mad on this call no matter what. I have to actually call Team Star Trek.
Yes. Okay, next
Yes.
one. 6. That's the 7. Malasada or glazed donut?
Oh. Okay, I'm going to make people mad again.
Come on, Kev.
Glazed donut from Napoleon's Bakery.
Okay, there you
Although
go.
our malasadas at Napoleon's Bakery are the best you've ever had, give it a shot.
One thing unique that most people wouldn't know about you.
For a brief stint in time, I was actually a bouncer at a nightclub.
What nightclub?
It was a teeny bopper nightclub called The Mix in Pucks Alley, where Nijia Market is now. And yes, I had a friend who was actually running it, and he needed cheap labor.
Nice. Morning person or night owl?
Oh, night owl, clearly, yeah.
Okay, this is number 10. Last one. And I already know the answer to this one because you actually answered it already. So chili beans or no beans?
Oh, no bean, yeah.
There you go. All right. Next one, we'll have some background music on the next one. I'll have to find some background music for the next time that we do a rapid fire question series. Let me go back to the chat channel right here. What? Team Star Trek? Boo. Wait a minute. Is that Jody? I'm not sure. Great job, Kevin. Simone, thank you very much for the chat, for the comment there. Let me see here. Were you at Aulani for the HFIA? I think I saw you there, Kevin.
Yes, I was. I wonder who that is.
Not sure. It is a general. It might be Ryan. Anyway, leave your questions or comments down there in the chat channel. Real quickly here, as we get ready to wrap things up, at the point that you are now, and with the experience that you've gotten over the years, what advice would you give to people that are wanting to get into this business that you're in?
So I'm actually going to break it up in a little bit, that question, because there's definitely early career type of people, as well as people who might have a little bit more experience under their belt. When I was originally looking at fields when I graduated from college about what to do, though I had landed in that job doing brown bags, my thought about advertising is that you needed to go work for an ad agency to make that happen. And I will tell you that that's not the only way to do advertising. Obviously, I'm sitting here now in this role, right? But don't even think about being in the marketing department like you have to be in the marketing department to do that. No, you're in customer service. You're in advertising. You could be even in accounting, and you could be in advertising. How? You ask. Most managers will be very happy to say, you know what, they're looking to grow within this company. If you have a good, enlightened manager and leader, that this particular person is looking to grow and be different and better and make themselves a better person. So I would be supportive if someone from accounting said, I really want to work on the next marketing campaign. And let's make that happen. Let's find a way for that to happen. So ask, number one. That's how you get in, quite honestly. Number two, if you're at a middle management position, and not necessarily if you're looking to get into advertising, but looking to grow your career within the marketing field, you're looking probably to get to the senior manager level or executive management level. And I would tell people, go ahead and serve on a nonprofit board. Why? Because you get to learn about things like finance, operations, and things outside of what you normally do. Of course, you could ask. It's a little harder, though, when you're inside a company at a particular level to ask to move to a different department and do different work. So therefore, you go outside and you join a nonprofit board. You make friends with the accountant on the finance committee. Why do you need to know all these things? Because the higher up you go, the more you need to know about the business and not just marketing. You need to be able to talk finance. You need to talk about operations management, supply chain, all the things that surround running the business, and not only marketing, though marketing is a huge component of that.
Kevin, as we get ready to close things up, final question for you. Everybody talks about when they get to have a certain amount of experience in their genre of business, They talk about a period of time that was their heyday, that they remember this time, this place, this job, this whatever that was, that thing. What would that thing be? And we're not going to talk about your current position right now, other than your current position right now, because that would be unfair to ask. Other than the current position, what other time would be that heyday, that time of your life period in business?
I'll choose two, actually, because they're two and very similar in some ways. First, starting off at the radio station and doing brown bags to stardom. You know, it was an amazing time to be in radio in the mid 90s. It was, you know, prior to all the corporate entities gobbling up things, and you could probably just run around and do whatever you wanted to do, more or less. And so running brown bags and having that opportunity to go out to every single high school was just amazing. And I learned a lot from the people that I spoke to. I spoke to principals and administrators, BOE members, Board of Education members, as a young person. So that was fun, number one. The other place that I would say would be my heyday were I call it the 7 years and 80 pounds that I spent at Hawaiian Airlines. It's super fun. I will tell you, that was the time of my life. We doubled the size of the airline in the first 3 years that we were there, flying all over the world, marketing Hawaii and Hawaiian Airlines. So both the destination as well as the airline and the way to get there. And it was such an amazing responsibility, if you will, that I had to ensure that Hawaii was marketed correctly as we went abroad, that we're not wiki-waki hula or sun-sand surf. Hawaii has a unique culture that needs to be protected. We invite you to come and experience it and then get back on the airplane and go back home. So we were very happy to go to different places and start different routes, and that was super fun. A little too much fun though, 80 pounds. So.
Kevin, I would like to apologize to you. I was telling you that was your last question, and it never fails that when we say this is the last question, then everybody dumps their questions into the chat. So we'll do these in rapid fire. How do you define success?
Success is defined by your own terms. It is whether or not you believe in your heart of hearts and your value set. And this is the other part. You need to know your values. What is important to you? I made a decision to come back home after college. I made a decision to stay here in Hawaii. I had many opportunities to move away to work at larger companies on the continent. My decision was to stay here and make Hawaii a better place to work and live. And so how do I define success? Am I being true to my values? I know where my canoe's pointed. And I hope I'm making Hawaii a better place to live and work in what I'm doing. I'm not quite there yet. So I need to continue to do the work.
Any books or podcasts you'd recommend?
Yes. My favorite, and this is kind of wonky, my favorite in the world is a book called Freakonomics. Okay, it's a little old, kind of long in the tooth now. It's by a behavioral economist, two of them. It's fascinating. Things like how your first name could determine your income in the future. Small things like that. So Freakonomics is the book. They had a couple different books, but they turned it into a podcast now. So if you have the opportunity, go and download Freakonomics and listen to that.
And then has Zippy's marketing always been more community focused than food focused? How has the strategy transformed over the years?
I'd say that the focus of Zippy's has kind of waffled back and forth between community and food, but mostly it's been around food and what's on special this week. Nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely necessary, right? What I'm saying now is that I'm trying to make Zippy's about more than food. Zippy's is about the connections you make over the food. It's about the people you're with, right? And the memories you make with them, in addition to eating the wonderful, comforting, family-friendly food.
Finally, last question here. What is the top selling item at Zippy's?
Oh, easy. It depends on what day it is, but it's a toss-up between Zip Pack and Korean fried chicken. Now, you can actually tell how old you are by what you order. So those of Gen X and more mature are definitely in the zip pack category, and those millennial and younger tend to be in the Korean fried chicken category.
Okay, where does chili chicken combo, no rice, no bean, extra rice, where does that fit in?
Oh, that must be a very young person. Yes, Billy.
I am going to end this interview very happy. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest has been Kevin Yim. And Kevin, thank you so much for answering all of these wonderful questions and being our very, very first guest. And mahalo to our audience for joining us today. We hope that you learned as much as I have sitting in this chair. Just a reminder, next month's Two Scoops with director and filmmaker James Serino. The date on that is going to be Tuesday, December 6th. Until then, Kevin, have a wonderful day and have a wonderful rest of the week. And thank you for being with us.
Mahalo, Billy. Mahalo, everyone.
Mahalo mo pono, aloha a hui ho.